Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I am your host, Barbara Gullen, talking to you from Super Bowl bound Kansas City and hanging out in the studio up in brutally cold Minneapolis is my buddy and pal, Tony Shore. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited for
Yes,
Sunday's big game this weekend. The
yes,
weekend the show drops. We're both excited. It hasn't
we are.
happened yet as
It
of
has
this
not.
recording, but we're only a couple of days away. So,
And, this is like a massive Red Friday. You will see I got close by wearing pink. So,
yeah, I didn't realize Red Friday. I'm saving it for tomorrow and Sunday. But yes, go Chiefs. And I think they're going to do the three-peat, no problem. Andy Reid's coaching will get them there, and
I wanna believe that, but there's this
Mahomes'
whole
talent.
yeah, and Mahomes' talent, just the whole team has really gelled, and they have started playing really good football the last few weeks.
Yeah,
Not to say that it wasn't a nail biter like it always is a couple
yeah,
weeks ago,
yep.
but I think they'll pull it out.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully, they have a plan for Saquon Barkley.
yep. He's amazing.
Yes,
He is one of
I
the
mean
best. He is one of the best, and so I'm sure Andy Reid will have a plan. Hopefully, it works because Saquon Barkley is the Eagles' main weapon, and boy, is he good. But
Yeah, I mean, he's fun to watch. I'm
oh
not
yeah, I just hope
gonna
it's a
lie.
close game.
I do too,
Yeah.
because that's what I need is more anxiety in my world. Um, but as I have pointed out to my children and my former husband, those 22 men on the field don't know your name and don't worry about you. So
That's true. Good
keep
point.
it in perspective, folks.
Yeah, keep it all in perspective.
I'm
That's
kind
right.
of I'm almost more excited for the commercials than I am the
Oh,
the
can't
game. The
wait.
commercials have always been my favorite.
Yeah,
So,
that's always fun.
and I
That's
have
always fun.
resisted the urge to click and watch anything ahead of time. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we watch the Puppy Bowl.
mhm.
You've heard of that? The Puppy
Well,
Bowl.
we have TVs so that are side by side. So we will
Yeah.
have the Puppy Bowl on mute, and we will have the Super Bowl on
Oh yeah.
with the sound.
Yeah, oh
So,
yes. Oh yes.
ah,
You have to watch both. So
yeah.
uh it's a crazy world out there
It
right
has been
now,
has
Barb, and
to
I'm
be.
glad we're
Yes.
talking.
Yeah. We work with a lot of federal employees.
Yeah.
We are recording this the day after what was supposed to be the deadline for the extended resignation. That got set aside by a judge, and they now have reset the deadline for Monday evening. And I am not a gambler, but I would almost lay odds that that also is going to get extended. There have been a number of attorneys that have come out questioning the validity of the government to be able to offer this kind of buyout. That's what everybody else is calling it. I'm not really sure that's what it is. Um, and the agreement that I have seen actually puts a federal employee in a place where they could potentially be waiving a lot of the rights that they have as employees and union members. So,
Yeah.
and I understand if you were planning on retiring this year, that this might look like something good for you. And if you were planning on retiring, we're probably at a place where it couldn't hurt. Now, don't just take my advice for that. By all means, talk to your family, talk to your agency. I know that there are several people that are in the healthcare industry with the government that have taken this buyout, and I was under the impression that they were exempt. The Veterans Administration is short staffed as it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know that the people that are saying that they're willing to resign or resign and retire with the VA are going to actually be granted that.
Hmm.
Much like they came out the day after the memo went out and was like, well, wait, if you're ICE or Homeland Security, don't even bother sending it in because you're exempt. A lot of administrative judges in the Social Security Administration, I'm pretty sure they are all exempt.
Yeah, so it's not
Not
blanket for all, it's not
it's
for
not.
all federal employees. It's not
It's
for
not.
everybody. It's just
No.
for yeah.
No, and I'd seen on the news, I think Wednesday evening, that 40,000 people had taken this option so far. Now they were expecting closer to 200,000 to take this option.
Wow.
Um, what that means for federal employees, this is one of those days I wish I hadn't dropped my crystal ball.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's broken.
I think if they really are that determined to reduce the size of government, we will see a voluntary early out that comes up next. And then eventually they may resort to reductions in force, which are basically layoffs. And those are usually determined by your level of seniority as well as your performance reviews. So somebody who has 25 years of service with the government and a decent performance track record probably doesn't need to be concerned if they're not ready to go yet.
Hmm.
All of that being just an educated guess on my part of where we're headed with all of this.
Sure. Yeah, because no one knows. It seems pretty it happened pretty sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of interesting parties involved. I'm not going to name names, Elon Musk, but it's interesting how this will all play out. And I know that the unions and lawyers and people representing employees there's a lot of pushback. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And just because you're a federal employee doesn't mean you're even going to have this option, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's going to be determined by your job position. And several other criteria. What
Sure.
you have to remember is that if you're taking this voluntary resignation, they will not be replacing your job.
Yeah, interesting. And you made a good point earlier, Barb, that I want to reiterate and ask you about because definitely don't do anything without consulting someone, talking it
Right.
over, because everybody's personal situation is different. Like you said, you need to look at where you're at, do the math. When
Mhm.
do I want to retire? What are my options moving forward after this if I do this? And I don't think anybody should even consider this doing anything one way or the other, staying or going, or taking it or not, without discussing it with someone like yourself who's handled federal benefits, who works with people to help plan out their retirement, plan out their
Mhm.
finances, right?
Right. If you're old enough to retire, it might be something worth considering.
Sure.
If you will still need to find another job, looking at finding employment in this market is going to be an interesting story. Jobs numbers came in today. We created fewer jobs than they had estimated. Surprisingly, unemployment dropped, but that could just mean that there's a bunch of people that are no longer eligible for unemployment, that they
Right.
frankly aren't counting the numbers anymore. I know my daughter ended up losing her job at the end of December and just started her new job this week. And she told me that she filled out somewhere around 60 applications
That's
and
crazy.
only had 3 or 4 interviews out of that.
Wow.
So, if you have a marketable skill, or if you are one of those people that you're a content creator and you've got enough income coming in from that or something else in the gig economy, it might be worth considering. However, if it comes back and OPM just decides to terminate everybody sooner than September 30th, you could find yourself in a position where you don't have your health insurance unless you start COBRA. And, there's a lot of planning that goes into it.
Sure.
And for grins and giggles, let's throw in tariffs and what that did to the market. Albeit
Tariffs,
temporarily.
another current event that we should discuss. Tariffs.
Yes. That there 3 countries had tariffs imposed on them: China, Mexico and Canada. The tariffs for Mexico and Canada were lifted within hours
Yeah.
because they both came back and said, okay, we'll play your game.
It pushed back to they're going to try it, no tariffs for 30 days. And
Right. Yeah,
Trump
they
says
kicked the
they're
can.
going to revisit it.
Right. With China, there is now a 10% tariff on all goods coming from there, which, okay, if it's your cute little inexpensive clothing item, not going to be a big difference. Electronics are going to be another story. And China's retaliating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, phones could get more expensive, right? I mean, phones are one of the major that's one of
Absolutely.
the main things we import from China, are cell
Absolutely.
phones. Yeah.
Yes. And I have to ask, did anybody approach you on the street wearing a trench coat and say, hey, buddy, you want to buy a dozen eggs?
Yeah. Eggs in our local store, they were $9 a dozen.
Oh, goodness.
And limit. Yeah, then they
Yes.
you'd think the store would be like, we're going to sell these for $9. Take as many as you want. No, you can. I think limit was 2 dozen, maybe.
Yeah. Their egg prices are up 37% year over year and
Yeah,
projected that they're going to go even higher.
and they weren't cheap last year, so
No.
37%
Yeah.
higher than
Yeah.
last year. That's saying something, right?
It,
Because
it
last year they
is.
were a lot higher than the year before that, and the year
It was
before that.
yes, and they have detected another strain of avian flu. Before that strain was detected, they told us it was going to be 6 months before they were back to full production. It's almost enough for me to entertain the ideas of a chicken coop in my backyard. Just
Yeah,
saying.
seriously.
So there are a lot of things going on,
Yeah.
and
There are. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. And yeah, I mean, you heard I heard yesterday or the day before, for the first time ever, they found cattle with the avian flu, the bird flu has spread to.
this one has been transmitting to
Yeah.
cattle all
Yeah.
along. And sadly to humans. I think there's been at least one fatality from.
Yeah, one or two cases where that's crazy.
Yeah. So, it makes trying to plan your grocery budget and trying to work on a spending plan with a whole lot of variables going on. If those tariffs are reimposed with Mexico, we import a lot of produce from Mexico.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Um,
Forget about your avocado on toast or your guacamole dip,
I
because
know.
that could get crazy if we do end up imposing tariffs on Mexico.
I know. You want to talk about something lighthearted for a second since we've been
Oh, it
talking
would be
about all this
good. It would
mess?
be good.
I read a statistic probably 15 years ago, so this could even be more. Do you know how much guacamole we as a country go through on Super Bowl Sunday?
I don't.
It is enough to fill the size of a football field, 5 feet tall.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of
Isn't that
guacamole.
crazy?
That's a lot of guacamole right
I
there.
know.
Holy guacamole is what I
Yes.
say.
Yes. I now feel less guilty about the amount of
Oh,
guacamole I consume on
I
Super
love
Bowl Sunday.
guac. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. And my 2 daughters, of course, avocado on toast is like
Of
their big thing.
course. Of
Yeah.
course.
I'm not yeah. I don't see the appeal in that, but I do love avocado
I
and I
do.
love guacamole.
Yes. And do you make your own?
Yes, I have, in fact, Gradient Financial, where the studios are at that I'm
Mhm.
in, had a guacamole contest. I'm going to say 4 years ago, and so
Mhm.
everybody made their own
Mhm.
guacamole. I won first place.
Good for
I
you.
forget what I got, a $25 or $50 Target gift card for winning first place in that contest.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Now,
There's a secret ingredient, and
are
somebody told me about the secret ingredient that you add. It's a spice, and that did it. I'm telling you, that did it.
you'll have to tell me what that is when we're
Yeah.
not on the air. Um,
I'm trying to remember what the spice. I'll look it up and I'll share it with you and the listeners because it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Now,
And
are
homemade
you
guac is so much better. You can't buy guac.
no.
It goes bad so quick. There's no
Yes.
such thing as fresh guac unless you make it.
Now, are you somebody that puts tomatoes in your guacamole or
Yep,
not?
there were chopped up Roma tomatoes.
Okay.
Yeah, a few,
Mhm.
not crazy. Yep.
No, you can't go too crazy with that.
No, no.
Um, my guacamole has avocados, obviously,
Mhm.
sea salt,
Yep,
fresh garlic,
yep,
cilantro, and
yep,
lime juice,
yep.
and that's
There's
all I have.
there's one more, and I prefer it without the tomatoes, honestly, but for the
Mhm.
one I won with, I had a few in there. I just chop up the round red Roma tomatoes.
Yes.
Um, but what was the other ingredient? It's not something, was it cumin? It was something I'll remember,
That
and,
would give it a little heat.
yeah, I think it was, but I'm gonna look it up, because I forget what I did. I haven't made it in probably since, but I used to make it all the time, and then I found this, and then I found that, and I made it for another year, but I probably haven't made guac myself in 3 years, so
Oh
but we
gosh.
eat out at Mexican restaurants so much, and there's one that has great guac, so we just yeah.
You get your fill there.
Yep.
And, we are still here gearing up for Casey Love down at Union Station on February 15th and 16th. We're hoping that our listeners come out there and join us.
That'll be great.
Yes, we have a photo booth that we're setting up. So, or a selfie.
Valentine's Day weekend
Yep, it
called
is
KC
Valentine's Day.
Love.
KC Love down at Union Station in Kansas City. It's more like a selfie station than a photo booth because we're not going to be printing any pictures there. But there are over 100 really incredible vendors that are all they're doing their own thing. It's not like they're buying in bulk from Amazon and reselling.
Mm.
We're going to be right next to a booth where the lady makes tote bags and handbags. And she's a quilter, so she
Oh,
has
wow.
the most incredible um, combinations of fabric that you think, if you look at them individually, make no sense. And she puts them together, and they just become the most beautiful
Huh.
creations. I have
Interesting.
Yeah, I've got 4 or 5 of her
Oh,
bags,
wow. Okay.
and she did yes, yeah. Anyway, um, and I am unashamed to say it.
Sure.
And then she made this really cool accent pillow with the reds and the yellows for the Chiefs. So
Oh, cool.
that's sitting on the couch and ready for the big game.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's
Yes.
fun. That's very fun.
Yes. And then not long after that, we have our client appreciation event
What are
at
you
the
doing
end
for
of
that?
February.
Oh, the
We
wine women and
and we've got Wine Women and Wealth the week after the client appreciation
okay.
event, just
Okay.
because I go big or go home. So,
Yeah, you gotta like, wow, that's in addition to
yes,
yeah.
and in the meantime, a filming crew coming in to update some stuff for our website and do
Oh,
some
fun.
shooting. Yeah, so, in fact, I think some of the people that are gonna be coming down
Oh,
to
yeah.
do that
Great
for us.
people, fun.
Yes.
They know what they're doing. A great crew's coming down to film you. Yeah.
Yes, so I would say, our Wine Women and Wealth event is March 6th. Ladies, if you
Yep.
want to register for that, you can go out to our website and do that, and we've got some really cool swag to give away there, um, and some fun swag for our client appreciation event that just came in yesterday, and then, with, Wine Women and Wealth being March the 6th, on March the 7th, I think I'm gonna set myself up for a nap.
I hope so. Yeah, you need to take a break somewhere in there, a bar. But and I think this is great. You have a lot of good things going on.
Mhm.
I want to say, it's been a great episode. I think it's been,
Yeah, and
uh,
despite the craziness in the world, there's still a
yeah.
lot of good things to look at.
Don't be terrified.
There you
Ah,
go. There you go. I mean, we're going to gain like an extra hour of daylight this month. What is there to dislike about that?
Oh, I always love that. Yeah, get that
Yes.
daylight back. Yeah, that's
Yes.
what we
And
need.
and the warmer temperatures, I really need to get out in my garden and do some digging in the dirt.
Yep, I'm up in Minnesota, and we're supposed to get 11 inches this weekend. So,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, they're mentioning the S word down here for next week in the middle of the week, and I refuse to listen to that
I
because I have a
refuse to
plane to
listen.
catch on Wednesday. So
All right. Well, Barbie, you have too much going on. I hope you find some time in between these activities and events to relax. But great show today. Great
yes.
perspectives on the federal benefit fiasco and the plan that's coming out for um, forced retirement or
Mhm.
something. Depends on your situation. It might be a
Yeah,
great thing that they're offering. So
it might be.
yeah, there's some positives in there, or the tariffs. Don't be terrified.
There you
Like
go. You said it twice.
I had to.
Where's your wah-ah sound effect? I
I,
need one of those buttons
uh,
here too.
yeah, do you? Yeah, you need to control that. Yeah, there you go. My bad dad jokes. All right. Well, Barb, great show today. Before we go, again, give Barb and her team a call 913-553-6222. That's 913-553-6222. Or to reserve a spot or find out more about wine, women, and wealth. Again, not necessarily in that order. Call BG or go to bgwealthmanagement.com, correct?
Thank you, Tony. Yes, that's where they go and click on the events tab and it'll all be there.
All right, that does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement with our host, Barb Goen.
We'll see you soon.